Good morning, friends. Today we'll discuss about another behavioral assessment scale, which is called Functional Assessment Checklist for Programming, called FACP. You would have heard about it, and some of you who have not heard about it, let us discuss about this. What is it all about, and how do we use it? Now, FACP is an activity based checklist which is used for assessment and programming of children with intellectual disability. So, friends, you would know that there were a lot of paradigm shifts in special education, in assessments, also evaluation, also, and other areas also. So, here also, earlier we used to everything used to be centered on the child. So we used to believe in child centered services. And now we have moved from child centered services to family centered, family oriented services. So similarly, we have moved from skill assessment to activity based curriculum. Skill based curriculum to activity based curriculum. What we realize that children should be taught directly those activities which are important in his life and which he needs to do to make his life independent rather than teaching skills. Say for example कि हम पहले मोती में धागा डालना सिखा रहे हैं और बाद में फिर कहते हैं कि फूलों का हार कैसे बनाएंगे या मड्स के मोतियों की ज्वेलरी कैसे बनाएंगे सो व्हाई नॉट टीच डायरेक्टली activities. So this was the basic idea behind it when we developed this FACP. This also was developed by NIPIT. So this is an activity-based checklist which I just told you, and again all the activities are listed from easy to complex, and they are all the activities which the child would require in his day-to-day life. And they are again written in observable terms so that you can measure it, and they are age appropriate as far as possible and ultimately contribute to living independently in the society. That's our ultimate goal. So, friends, let's see. It is not one scale as against MDPS or basic MR. It has got checklist for 6 levels, I would say. What are those levels? Number one is pre-primary level. As you can see on the screen, this group consists of children between 3 to 6 years. So जो chronological age के बच्चे 3 से 6 साल के हैं उनके लिए ये चेकलिस्ट बनी है. ओके और फिर प्राइमरी 1 के लिए एक चेकलिस्ट बनी हुई है. Okay, for the age group of 7 years and above. Then we also have primary 2 level की checklist. Okay, for the age 8 to 11 or so. And then secondary group, again, it has got checklists for the children age group from 11 to 14. Then pre-vocational, again we have 2 levels. I'll tell you why these 2 levels are there later. Pre-vocational 1 and pre-vocational 2. Now both the groups, they consist of groups which are in the age range of 15 to 18 years of age. We have another level which we call care group. This group includes children with very low ability. So that means profoundly handicapped children. So these are the various groups or these are the various levels for which checklists are made. Now let us see what are the various domains in these checklists. So basically in each checklist there are 5 domains. In basic MR how many domains were there? So let us revise, there were 18 domains. In basic MR how many domains were there? In skill area? Yeah, very good. 7. Yeah. In this we have 5 domains. And what are those 5 domains? You can see on the screen. Personal, social, academic, occupational and recreational. Okay? And friends, the advantage in these is that in each item you have the freedom, you have the flexibility to add or delete the items, which was not the case in either MDPS nor in basic MR. So here the flexibility is there. Maybe there is some item which you want to add for a particular child, and you see that is not there in the checklist. So you can add that. But then the scoring will be dependent on that, which I will discuss just now. So these are 5 areas, and each item has got different number of items, okay, which you will see the checklist yourself. And these can be, you can obtain these checklists from NIPET. Now, how the scoring is done? Here we have both the advantages of MDPS also and basic MR also. You can say yes and no also. So that means if the child can do independently, you write plus. So I'm not talking about scoring. So how do we score the items? You get hold of a checklist. Say for example, this is a checklist in front of me, and you open the item number 1. Say for example, this is, I'll just show it to you. This is personal skill. So first is chew and swallow solid food when placed in his mouth. And here we have to first year, second year, third year, and you have to mark your scoring here. So entry level is, this is what I'm discussing, how will you score these items. So if the child can do independently, you will mark plus. And if the child is not able to do independently, you will mark minus. Okay? Now, if the child can do with verbal prompt, you can also mark that. So both the provisions are there. And if the child is doing the activity with the help of gestural prompt or physical prompt or verbal prompt, you can mark likewise. So your profile would be like this, plus, minus, VP, PP, like that. So it is totally different. Okay? But what you need to keep in mind is when you are scoring, when you find out the total score or when you find out the percentage, like how much child has achieved. So what you have to do, item marks yes or no are counted as points, while others such as VP, such as PP and such as GP, they are not counted for points. कहने का मतलब ये है कि जो सारे पॉजिटिव्स आए हैं सिर्फ वो ही पॉइंट्स काउंटेड होंगे फॉर मार्किंग. Say for example, there were 10 items in motor. Okay. Now in motor skills, in personal skills, let's see, there are 19 items. Okay. And 19 में से बच्चे के 10 items जो हैं प्लस आए और बाकी आइटम्स किसी में वीपी आ रहा है, किसी में जीपी आ रहा है और किसी में माइनस आ रहा है, जो भी है. सो फॉर द काउंटिंग पर्पसेस वी विल काउंट ओनली पॉजिटिव्स. वो कितने थे? 10. So child receives out of 90, the child will receive marks only 10. Okay? और दूसरा क्या है? The marks, the items which are marked not applicable are deleted from the total numbers. जो not applicable item है वो भी उसके scoring में add नहीं होंगे while calculating the percentage. तो सिमिलरली स्पेसिफिक आइटम्स एडेड जो आपने ऐड करे हैं वो बट दे शुड बी इंक्लूडेड फॉर कैलकुलेटिंग द परसेंटेज. यू गॉट माय पॉइंट? सो से फॉर एग्जांपल अगर यहाँ पे 19 आइटम हैं और आपने अपने हिसाब से 3 आइटम्स और डाल लिए तो 22 हो गए. सो द टोटल आइटम्स इज 22 एंड द चाइल्ड कुड अचीव ओनली 10 इंडिपेंडेंटली एंड बाकी कुछ में वीपी आ रहा है, किस में एनए आ रहा है. तो जो एनए आ रहा है, मान लो अगर एनए आ रहा है तो वो 22 में से एक में एनए आ रहा है मान लो, तो 22 में से कितने बचे? वो स्कोरिंग के लिए ऐड नहीं होगा, परसेंटेज के लिए ऐड नहीं होगा, तो वो 22 में से 21 रहेगा. ओके. और अब 21 में से वो इंडिपेंडेंटली कितने कर पा रहा है? 10. सो वी विल से 21 में से 10 तो 100 में से कितने. सो दिस इज हाउ वी कैलकुलेट द परसेंटेज. So you have taken into account what you have added, but you have not taken into an account which is not applicable, or which the child is doing either VP or GP and all that. Understood? Very good. So this is how the scoring is done in FACP. So इसके सारे levels हैं और इसमें ये ऐसे scoring करी जाती है. Okay. Now the items which are listed under recreation, वो जो हैं उनको हम they are not counted for quantification as these items are interest based. और इनको हम नंबर भी नहीं देते हैं, येस और नो भी नहीं बोलते हैं. इनको हम कैसे असेस करते हैं? वी गिव द ग्रेड्स. सो व्हाट आर दोज ग्रेड्स? ग्रेड ए which says the child takes initiative and participates effectively in all these items, okay, in the recreation area. Number B is grade B is वो participate तो करता है पर when others initiate, अपने आप ने. और नंबर जो सी है वो ये है कि वो अपने आप इन्वॉल्व करता है बट ही इज नॉट अवेयर ऑफ द रूल्स. ही इन्वॉल्व्स हिमसेल्फ बट नॉट अवेयर ऑफ द रूल्स. और नंबर डी जो है he observes with interest but he doesn't like to involve himself. And the grade E is given when he is not interested at all. And NE is no exposure. So items under recreation, they are scored like this. No score, but they are given grades like this. So I think that's clear. So again, the goals will be selected in the similar manner as we have described earlier, and IEP will be planned accordingly. Now here also, in FACP also, we have a progress report like this, and you can see on the screen also, but I'll just show you. It has got a graphic representation also, and it has got a scores also, term wise. In all the 5 areas, how the child has scored. In social, what was the entry level? What was his performance in first term? What was his performance in second term? What was his performance like in third term? So this is the progress report. Provision also is there in FACP. So this is all about FACP. And now I would like to discuss, how the promotion is done. FACP how the grouping is done and how children are promoted to the next level. As I said, there are how many levels? कितने लेवल्स पे बनी हुई है हमारी? अभी हमने डिस्कस करा FACP. Yes, pre-primary, primary, secondary, pre-vocational and vocational. So friends, as you can see on the screen, when the child, say for example, the child is placed in pre-primary. When he achieves 80% of the mastery on those activities, he is promoted to primary level 1. Okay? बट कुछ बच्चे ऐसे होंगे जो 80% मास्टरी नहीं करी होगी प्री प्राइमरी लेवल पे. सो दे विल गो टू प्राइमरी लेवल 2, जहाँ पे जो एक्टिविटीज़ जो हैं वो बहुत इजी हैं, मिनिमल लेवल की हैं. ओके, तो ये बच्चे वहाँ पे चले जाएंगे. सो एक तरफ तो आप देख रहे हैं कि जो बच्चे 80% मास्टरी कर लेते हैं, बिकॉज दैट्स व्हाट वी से दैट मिनिमम 80% मास्टरी एक्विजिशन स्टेज में अगर बच्चा कर लेता है तो ही इज प्रमोटेड टू द नेक्स्ट लेवल. बट ऑब्वियसली सारे बच्चे तो नहीं कर पाते हैं ना 80% लेवल की मास्टरी, तो उनको हम कैसे प्लेस करते हैं? दैट इज व्हाट आई एम डिस्कसिंग. तो वन इज दिस रेगुलर. प्री प्राइमरी में 80% होगी तो प्राइमरी 1 में चला गया, प्राइमरी 1 में 80% हो गई तो सेकेंडरी लेवल में चला गया, सेकेंडरी लेवल में 80% मास्टरी होगी तो प्री वोकेशनल लेवल पे चला गया, और उसके बाद वो वोकेशनल ट्रेनिंग 18 ईयर्स पे हो जाती है, जो कि वेरियस ट्रेड्स में हम देते हैं आफ्टर 18. पर आप साथ देख रहे हैं, आप प्राइमरी 2 लेवल कौन सा लेवल है? जहाँ पे जो बच्चे 80% मास्टरी प्री प्राइमरी लेवल पे नहीं कर पाए, और जैसा कि मैंने आपको बताया कि वहाँ पे जो जो सिलेबस है, जो एक्टिविटीज़ है, वो और सिंपलर है। और अगर इनके ये जो प्राइमरी 2 वाले में अगर 80% मास्टरी 14 साल से पहले कर लेते हैं, जो कि प्राइमरी 2 में ये बच्चे 8 to 14 ईयर्स रहते हैं ना, तो अगर वो 14 साल से पहले 80% मास्टरी कर लेते हैं, सो देन दे आर ब्रॉट अगेन टू सेकेंडरी लेवल, इन द मेन स्ट्रीम। बट इफ दे डोंट, देन वो प्री वोकेशनल 2 में चले जाते हैं। तो अगर उनके 80% मास्टरी लेवल नहीं हुआ, तो दे विल गो टू प्री वोकेशनल लेवल बिकॉज दे आर गोइंग फिजिकली। सो 15 और 18 ईयर्स के एज में प्री वोकेशनल 2 लेवल पे चले जाएंगे, जहाँ पे कि बच्चों की जो एक्टिविटीज़ है वो लोअर लेवल की है, विच दे कैन परफॉर्म एट देयर लेवल। सो अल्टीमेटली दैट इज आवर गोल। और जब बच्चा 18 साल का हो जाता है, ऑब्वियसली द वोकेशनल ट्रेनिंग स्टार्ट, और उसके लिए असेसमेंट जो है डिफरेंट स्केल्स पे होती है। देन वी हैव वैप्स विच वी विल डिस्कस लेटर। तो जब बच्चा स्कूल से वर्ल्ड ऑफ वर्क में जाना चाहता है, वी यूज अनदर स्केल विच वी कॉल्ड vocational assessment programming system, which we'll discuss later. So today we will discuss only till this point. But before I complete, I would like to give you a comparative picture of all the three scales which we have discussed. So friends, because then it's easier for you to remember. You can see on the screen also, we have discussed three basic scales which are used for assessment and programming. So number one was MDPS, number two was basic MR, number three is FACP. So MDPS is written by who? Developed by who? Professor Jayachandran. Basic MR and FAC both are developed by NIPET. Basic MR was developed by Rita Peshavria ma'am and S. Venkatesan in 1992. And FACP was also developed under the leadership of Jayanti ma'am, the Department of Special Education, which is called NIPET now. In MDPS, there are 18 domains, friends, and each domain will have 20 items. And in all, there are 360 items. Whereas in basic MR, there were two parts, part 1 and part B. Part 1A is skill area, part B is problem behavior area. और part A में कितने domains थे? 7 domains. Each domain having how many items? 40 items. Total items 280 items. और part B में कितने domains थे? Yes, 10 domains and total items कितने थे? 75. Okay. और सबकी जो है रिकॉर्डिंग जो है फर्क है, जो कि हम अभी बताएंगे. सो ये तीनों में फर्क पता चल गया. ओके. इन FACP क्या है? FACP में 5 लेवल की चेकलिस्ट है, प्री प्राइमरी, प्राइमरी, सेकेंडरी एंड प्री वोकेशनल. उसमें 5 डोमेन्स हैं. हर डोमेन्स में जो आइटम्स है 5 to 20 है. टोटल सारी चेकलिस्ट को मिला के आइटम्स हैं 370 आइटम्स. ओके. नाउ हाउ दे आर scored. Now, before we talk about scoring, let me tell you about the kit. MDPS has a kit which is called Assessment Adaptive Behavior Assessment Kit, जिसको short form में ABAK भी कहते हैं. बेसिक MR में हमें लिस्ट ऑफ द मटेरियल दी गई है फॉर ईच डोमेन. ओके. एंड किट कैन बी प्रिपेयर्ड अकॉर्डिंगली. FACP में ऐसा कोई जिक्र नहीं है बिकॉज दे आर एक्टिविटी बेस्ड. ओके. Now, how they are scored? MDPS में क्या था? Performance on each item is rated as A and B. Very good. But no scope for prompts. But profile sheet is there. In basic MR, performance on each item is rated as independent, glowing, verbal prompting, physical prompting, totally dependent, not applicable, and profile sheet is there. Okay. और FACP में कैसे करते हैं परफॉर्मेंस को रिकॉर्ड? इज रेटेड एज इंडिपेंडेंट, VP, PP, TD, totally dependent, and the profile sheet is also there. And how about the progress? How the progress is shown? We have a report card. For MDPS, we don't have a report card, but we show progress in numbers 1 to 7. Number 1 is, you remember, below the baseline. The child has gone below the baseline. Number 2, no progress. Number 3 is 25% progress. Number 4 is 50% progress. Number 5 is 75. And number 6 is 100%. And number 7 is the child has achieved the goal before the deadline. या और इसमें बेसिक एमआर में हमने आपको पूरी रिपोर्ट कार्ड दिखाई, बच्चे के स्कोर्स दिए गए हैं नंबर्स में, 200 में से कितने स्कोर आए बच्चे के, उसकी परसेंटेज दी गई है और उसका ग्राफिक प्रेजेंटेशन भी दिया गया है. Similarly, in FACP also we have a report card. Yes, and progress is given for each quarter of the year in a report card form. Now in MDPS, there is no provision for deletion or addition of any item. In basic MR also, there is no provision for deletion of item. But in FACP, there is a provision for deletion or addition of items. Okay? And as we said, FACP is activity-based checklist used for assessment and programming. Okay? And as we said, graphic analysis is given in all the three. So is that clear now? So we have given you the comparative statement of all the three scales. Thank you.